Act 1 of Belinda, an April Folly in 3 acts by A. Milne. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Characters. Stage directions read by Larry Wilson.
Belinda Tremaine, read by Lynette Calkins.
Delia, Belinda's daughter, read by Devorah Allen.
Harold Baxter, read by E.J. Wiley.
Claude Devonish, read by Johann Supertramp.
John Tremaine, read by Michael Fazio.
Betty, read by T.J. Burns.
The action takes place in Belinda's country house in Devonshire at the end of April, the first act in the garden, and the second and last acts in the hall. Act 1. It is a lovely April afternoon, a foretaste of summer, in Belinda's garden. Betty, a middle-aged servant, is fastening a hammock, its first appearance this year, to a tree down left. In front there is a garden table with a deck chair on the right of it, and a straight-backed one to the left. There are books, papers, and magazines on the table. Belinda, of whom we shall know more presently, is on the other side of the open windows, which look on to the garden, talking to Betty, who crosses right of hammock, securing it to tree centre. Belinda from inside the house.
Are you sure you're tying it up tightly enough, Betty?
Betty coming to front of hammock.
Yes, ma'am, I think it's firm.
Because I'm not the fairy I used to be.
Betty testing hammock.
Yes, ma'am, it's quite firm at this end, too.
Belinda entering from portico with sunshade open.
It's not the ends I'm frightened of, it's the middle where the weight's coming.
Comes down right and admiring.
It looks very nice.
She crosses at back of the wicker table, hanging her handbag on hammock, closes and places her sunshade at back of tree centre.
Yes, ma'am.
Belinda trying the middle of it with her hand.
I asked them at the stores if they were quite sure it would bear me, and they said it would take anything up to, I forget how many tons. I know I thought it was rather rude of them.
Looking at it anxiously and trying to get in, first with her right leg, then her left.
How does one get in? So trying to be a sailor.
I think you sit in it, ma'am, and then
Explaining with her hands.
throw your legs over.
I see.
She sits gingerly in the hammock, and then with a sudden flutter of white does what Betty suggests.
Yes.
Regretfully.
I'm afraid that was rather wasted on you, Betty. We must have some spectators next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Cushions.
Betty moves to and takes a cushion from the deck chair. Belinda assists her to place it at the back of her head. Betty then goes to back of hammock and arranges Belinda's dress.
There. Now then, Betty, about callers.
Yes, ma'am.
If Mr. Baxter calls, he is the rather prim gentleman.
Yes, ma'am. The one who's been here several times before.
Moves to below and left of hammock. Belinda giving Betty a quick look.
Yes. Well, if he calls, you'll say, not at home.
Yes, ma'am.
He will say,
Imitating Mr. Baxter.
oh, really? Then you'll smile very sweetly and say, I beg your pardon, was it Mr. Baxter? And he'll say, yes. And you'll say, oh, I beg your pardon, sir. This way, please.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right, Betty. Well now, if Mr. Devonish calls, he is the rather poetical gentleman.
Yes, ma'am. The one who's always coming here.
Belinda with a pleased smile.
Yes. Well, if he calls, you'll say, not at home.
Yes, ma'am.
He'll immediately,
Extending her arms descriptively.
throw down his bunch of flowers and dive despairingly into the moat. You'll stop him just as he is going in and say, I beg your pardon, sir, was it Mr. Devonish? And he will say, yes. And you will say, oh, I beg your pardon, sir. This way, please.
Yes, ma'am. And suppose they both call together?
Belinda nonplussed for a moment.
Oh, we won't suppose anything so exciting, Betty.
No, ma'am. And suppose any other gentleman calls?
Belinda with a sigh.
There aren't any other gentlemen.
It might be a clergyman come to ask for a subscription, like.
If it's a clergyman, Betty, I shall want your assistance out of the hammock first.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all.
Betty crosses below table and chairs to porch.
To anybody else, I'm not at home.
Trying to secure a book on table and nearly falling out of the hammock.
Oh, just give me that little green book.
Pointing to books on the table.
The one at the bottom there. That's the one.
Betty gives it to her.
Thank you.
Reading the title.
The Lute of Love by Claude Devonish.
To herself as she turns the pages.
It doesn't seem much for half a crown when you think of the Daily Telegraph. Lute. Lute. I should have quite a pretty mouth if I kept on saying that.
With a great deal of expression.
Lute.
She pats her mouth back.
Is that all, ma'am?
That's all.
Betty prepares to go.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
Waving to the table.
I want that review. I think it's the blue one.
As Betty begins to look.
It has an article by Mr. Baxter on The Rise of Lunacy in the Eastern Counties.
Betty gives her the 19th Century magazine.
Yes, that's the one. I'd better have that too. I'm just at the most exciting place. You shall have it after me, Betty.
Is that all, ma'am?
Yes, that really is all.
Betty goes into the house. Belinda reading to herself very pronouncedly.
It is a matter of grave concern to all serious students of social problems.
Putting the review down in hammock and shaking her head gently.
But not in April.
Lazily opening the book and reading.
Tell me, where is love? Well, that's the question, isn't it?
She lies back in the hammock lazily, and the book of poems falls from her to the ground. Delia comes into the garden from Paris. She is decidedly a modern girl, pretty and self-possessed. Her hair is halfway up, waiting for her birthday perhaps. She sees her mother suddenly, stops and then goes on tiptoe to the head of the hammock. She smiles and kisses her mother on the forehead. Belinda, looking supremely unconscious, goes on sleeping. Delia kisses her lightly again. Belinda wakes up with an extraordinarily natural start, and is just about to say,
"Oh, Mr. Devonish, you mustn't,"
when she sees Delia.
"Delia!"
They kiss each other frantically.
Well, Mummy, aren't you glad to see me?
"My darling child!"
Say you're glad.
Belinda sitting up.
"My darling, I'm absolutely—"
Delia crosses round to left of hammock.
"Hold the hammock while I get out, dear. We don't want an accident."
Delia holds the left end of it, and Belinda struggles out, leaving the magazine and her handkerchief in the hammock.
"Whew! They're all right when you're there, and they'll bear 2 tons. But they're horrid getting in and out of."
Kissing her again.
"Darling, it really is you?"
Oh, it is jolly seeing you again. I believe you were asleep.
Belinda with dignity.
"Certainly not, child. I was reading The 19th Century."
With an air.
"And after?"
Earnestly.
"Darling, wasn't it next Thursday you were coming back?"
No, this Thursday, silly.
Belinda penitently.
"Oh, my darling, and I was going over to Paris to bring you home."
I half expected you.
"So confusing their both being called Thursday, and you were leaving school for the very last time. If you don't forgive me, Delia, I shall cry."
Delia kissing her and stroking her hand fondly.
Silly mother.
Belinda sits down in the deck chair, and Delia sits on the table.
"Isn't it a lovely day for April, darling? I've wanted to say that to somebody all day, and you're the first person who's given me the chance. Oh, I said it to Betty, but she only said, 'Yes, ma'am.'"
Poor mother.
Belinda jumping up suddenly, crossing left of and kissing Delia again.
"I simply must have another one. And to think that you're never going back to school any more."
Looking at her fondly and backing to left.
Darling, you are looking pretty.
Am I?
Lovely.
She kisses her once more, then she takes the cushion from the hammock, moves it back of table, and places it on the head of the deck chair.
And now you're going to stay with me for just as long as you want a mother.
Anxiously moving to right of deck chair.
Darling, you didn't mind being sent away to school, did you? It is the usual thing, you know.
Silly mother, of course it is.
Belinda relieved and sitting on deck chair.
I'm so glad you think so too.
Have you been very lonely without me?
Belinda with a sly look at Delia.
Very.
Delia turning to Belinda and holding up a finger.
The truth, mummy.
I've missed you horribly, Delia.
Primly.
The absence of female companionship of the requisite.
Are you really all alone?
Belinda smiling mysteriously and coyly.
Well, not always, of course.
Delia excitedly as she slips off the table and backing to left a little.
Mummy, I believe you're being bad again.
Really, darling, you forget that I'm old enough to be, in fact am, your mother.
Delia nodding her head.
You are being bad.
Belinda rising with dignity and drawing herself up to her full height, moving left.
My child, that is not the way to... Oh, I say, what a lot taller I am than you.
Turning her back to Delia and comparing sizes.
And prettier.
Belinda playfully rubbing noses with Delia.
Oh, do you think so?
Firmly, but pleased.
Don't be silly, child.
Delia holding up a finger.
Now tell me all that's been happening here at once.
Belinda with a sigh.
And I was just going to ask you how you were getting on with your French.
Sits in deck chair.
Bother French. You've been having a much more interesting time than I have, so you've got to tell.
Belinda with a happy sigh.
Oh.
She sinks back into her chair. Delia taking off her coat.
Is it like the Count at Scarborough?
Belinda surprised and pained.
My darling, what do you mean?
Don't you remember the Count who kept proposing to you at Scarborough? I do.
Places coat on hammock. Belinda reproachfully.
Dear one, you were the merest child paddling about on the beach and digging castles.
Delia smiling to herself.
I was old enough to notice the Count.
Belinda sadly.
And I'd bought her a perfectly new spade. How one deceives oneself.
Delia at table and leaning across with hands on table.
And then there was the MP who proposed at Windermere.
Yes, dear, but it wasn't seconded. I mean, he never got very far with it.
And the artist in Wales.
Darling child, what a memory you have. No wonder your teachers are pleased with you.
Delia settling herself comfortably in deck chair left of Belinda and lying in her arms.
Now tell me all about this one.
Belinda meekly.
Which one?
Delia excitedly.
Oh, are there lots?
Belinda severely.
Only two.
Two, you abandoned woman.
It's something in the air, darling. I've never been in Devonshire in April before.
Is it really serious this time?
Belinda pained.
I wish you wouldn't say this time, Delia. It sounds so unromantic. If you'd only put it into French. Cette fois. It sounds so much better. Cette fois.
Parentally.
When one's daughter has just returned from an expensive schooling in Paris, one likes to feel...
What I meant, dear, was, am I to have a stepfather at last?
Now you're being too French, darling.
Why, do you still think father may be alive?
Why not? It's only 18 years since he left us, and he was quite a young man then.
Yes, but surely you'd have heard from him in all those years if he'd been alive.
Well, he hasn't heard from me, and I'm still alive.
Delia, looking earnestly at her mother, rises and moves left centre.
I shall never understand it.
Understand what?
Were you as heavenly when you were young as you are now?
Belinda rapturously.
Oh, I was sweet.
And yet he left you after only 6 months.
Belinda rather crossly, sitting up.
I wish you wouldn't keep on saying he left me. I left him, too.
Delia running to and kneeling in front of Belinda and looking anxiously into her face.
Why?
Belinda smiling to herself.
Well, you see, he was quite certain he knew how to manage women, and I was quite certain I knew how to manage men.
Thoughtfully.
If only one of us had been certain, it would have been all right.
Delia seriously.
What really happened, Mummy? I'm grown up now, so I think you ought to tell me.
Belinda thoughtfully.
That was about all, you know, except for his beard.
Had he a beard?
Laughing.
How funny.
Belinda roaring with laughter, in which Delia joins.
Yes, dear, it was, but he never would see it. He took it quite seriously.
And did you say dramatically, if you really loved me, you'd take it off?
Belinda apologetically.
I'm afraid I did, darling.
And what did he say?
He said, very rudely, that if I loved him, I'd do my hair in a different way.
Delia sinks down on her haunches, facing the audience.
How ridiculous.
Belinda touching her hair.
Of course, I didn't do it like this then. I suppose we never ought to have married, really.
Why did you?
Mother rather wanted it.
Solemnly.
Delia, never get married because your mother... Oh, I forgot, I'm your mother.
And I don't want a better one.
They embrace.
And so you left each other?
Yes.
But darling, didn't you tell him there was going to be a me?
Oh, no.
I wonder why not.
Well, you see, if I had, he might have wanted to stay.
But...
Belinda hurt.
If he didn't want to stay for me, I didn't want him to stay for you.
Penitently.
Forgive me, darling, but I didn't know you very well then. We've been very happy together, haven't we?
Delia going to the hammock, sitting in it and dangling her legs.
I should think we have.
Belinda leaning back in chair.
I don't want to deny you anything, and of course, if you'd like a stepfather...
Looking down modestly.
Or two.
Oh, you have been enjoying yourself.
Only you see how awkward it would be if Jack turned up in the middle of the wedding, like Eugene Aram.
Enoch Arden, darling.
It's very confusing their having the same initials. Perhaps I'd better call them both E.A. in future, and then I shall be safe. Well, anyhow, it would be awkward, darling, wouldn't it? Not that I should know him from Adam after all these years, except for a mole on his left arm.
Perhaps Adam had a mole.
No, darling, you're thinking of Noah. He had two.
Delia thoughtfully.
I wonder what would happen if you met somebody whom you really did fall in love with.
Belinda reproachfully.
Now you're being serious, and it's April.
Aren't these two, the present two, serious?
Oh, no. They think they are, but they aren't a bit, really. Besides, I'm doing them such a lot of good. I'm sure they'd hate to marry me, but they love to think they're in love with me, and I love it, and they love it, and we all love it.
Delia rising and crossing to Belinda.
You really are the biggest, darlingest baby who ever lived.
Kisses her.
Do say I shan't spoil your lovely times.
Belinda surprised.
Spoil them? Why, you'll make them more lovely than ever.
Delia turning away and sitting on table.
Well, but do they know you have a grown-up daughter?
Belinda suddenly realizing and sitting up.
Oh.
It doesn't really matter, because you don't look a day more than 30.
Belinda absently.
No.
Hurriedly.
I mean, how sweet of you, only...
What?
Belinda playing with her rings.
Well, one of them, Mr. Baxter, Harold.
She looks quickly up at Delia, and down again in pretty affectation, but she is really laughing at herself all the time.
He writes statistical articles for the reviews, percentages and all those things. He's just the sort of man, if he knew that I was your mother, to work it out that I was more than 30. The other one, Mr. Devonish, Claude.
She looks up and down as before.
He's rather poetical. He thinks I came straight from heaven last week.
Delia laughing and jumping up and crossing below deck chair to write towards house.
I think I'd better go straight back to Paris.
Belinda jumping up and catching her firmly by the left arm.
You will do nothing of the sort.
Pulling Delia back to center.
You will take off that hat.
She lets go of the arm and begins to take out the pen.
Which is a perfect duck, and I don't know why I didn't say so before.
She puts the hat down on the table.
And let me take a good look at you.
She does so.
And kiss you.
She does so, then crosses Delia below her and takes her towards the house.
And then we'll go to your room and unpack and have a lovely talk about clothes. And then we'll have tea.
Betty comes in and stands up at back.
And now here's Betty coming in to upset all our delightful plans, just when we've made them.
Belinda and Delia are now on Betty's right. Delia leaving Belinda and shaking hands with Betty.
How are you, Betty? I've left school.
Very nicely, thank you, miss.
Backing to left and admiring.
You've grown.
Belinda moving too and patting the top of Delia's head.
I'm much taller than she is.
Crossing to Betty in front of Delia.
Well, Betty, what is it?
The two gentlemen, Mr. Baxter and Mr. Devonish, have both called together, ma'am.
Belinda excited.
Oh, how very simultaneous of them.
Delia eagerly going towards house.
Oh, do let me see them.
Belinda stopping her.
Darling, you'll see plenty of them before you're finished.
To Betty in an exaggerated whisper.
What have you done with them?
They're waiting in the hall, ma'am, while I said I would see if you were at home.
All right, Betty. Give me 2 minutes, and then show them out here.
Yes, ma'am.
Betty crosses below Belinda and Delia and exits into the house. Belinda taking Delia down right a step.
They can't do too much harm to each other in 2 minutes.
Delia taking her hat from table.
Well, I'll go and unpack.
She goes back to Belinda.
You really won't mind my coming down afterwards?
Of course not.
A little awkwardly taking Delia's arm and moving down right.
Darling one, I wonder if you'd mind, just at first, being introduced as my niece?
By now at foot of deck chair.
You see, I expect they're in a bad temper already.
Now center.
Having come here together, and we don't want to spoil their day entirely.
Delia smiling on Belinda's left.
I'll be your mother if you like.
Oh, no, that wouldn't do, because then Mr. Baxter would feel that he ought to ask your permission before paying his attentions to me. He's just that sort of man. A niece is so safe. However good you are at statistics, you can't really prove anything.
All right, Mummy.
Belinda enjoying herself.
You'd like to be called by a different name, wouldn't you? There's something so thrilling about taking a false name. Such a lot of adventures begin like that. How would you like to be Miss Robinson, darling? It's a nice, easy one to remember.
Persuasively.
And you shall put your hair up so as to feel more disguised. What fun we're going to have.
You baby. All right, then. I'm Miss Robinson, your favorite niece.
She takes her jacket from hammock and moves towards the house.
How sweet of you. No, not that way. You'll meet them.
Following quickly up between tree and table to Delia, who has now reached the house.
Oh, I'm coming with you to do your hair.
Moving up center arm in arm with Delia.
You don't think you're going to be allowed to do it yourself when so much depends on it, and husbands leave you because of it, and...
Belinda, seeing Betty entering from house, hurries Delia up right, and they bob down behind the yew hedge right. Betty comes from the house into the garden, crossing to center and up stage looking for Belinda, followed by Mr. Baxter and Mr. Devonish. Baxter gives an angry look round at Devonish as he enters. Mr. Baxter is 45, prim and erect, with close-trimmed moustache and side whiskers. His clothes are dark and he wears a bowler hat. Mr. Devonish is a long-haired, good-looking boy in a negligee costume, perhaps 22 years old, and very scornful of the world. Baxter crosses left below Betty, and turns to her with a sharp inquiring glance. Devonish moves down right, languidly admiring the garden. Betty looking about her, surprised.
The mistress was here a moment ago.
2 heads pop up from behind the hedge, and then down again immediately. Belinda and Delia exeunt right.
I expect she'll be back directly if you'll just wait.
She goes back into the house. Baxter, crossing to right, meets Devonish, who has moved up right. Baxter is annoyed, and with an impatient gesture comes down between the tree and the table to chair left, and sits. Devonish throws his felt hat on to the table and walks to the back of the hammock. He sees the review in the hammock and picks it up.
Good heavens, Baxter, she's been reading your article.
I dare say she's not the only one.
That's only guesswork.
Going to back of table.
You don't know of anyone else.
Baxter with contempt.
How many people, may I ask, have bought your poems?
Devonish loftily.
I don't write for the mob.
I think I may say that of my own work.
Baxter, I don't want to disappoint you, but I have reluctantly come to the conclusion that you are one of the mob.
Throws magazine down on table, annoyed.
Dash it! What are you doing in the country at all in a bowler hat?
If I wanted to be personal, I could say, why don't you get your hair cut? Only that form of schoolboy humor doesn't appeal to me.
This is not a personal matter. I am protesting on behalf of nature.
Leaning against tree.
What do the birds and the flowers and the beautiful trees think of your hat?
If one began to ask oneself what the birds thought of things...
He pauses.
Well, and why shouldn't one ask oneself? It is better than asking oneself what the stock exchange thinks of things.
Well...
Looking up at Devonish's extravagant hair.
It's the nesting season. Your hair.
Suddenly.
Ha 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 ha!
Devonish hastily smoothing it down.
Really, Baxter, you're vulgar.
He turns away and resumes his promenading, going down right and then round deck chair to front of hammock. Suddenly sees his book on the grass beneath the hammock and makes a dash for it.
Ha! My book!
Gloating over it.
Baxter, she reads my book.
I suppose you gave her a copy.
Devonish exultingly.
Yes, I gave her a copy. My next book will be hers and hers alone.
Then let me say that in my opinion you took a very great liberty.
Liberty! And this from a man who is continually forcing his unwelcome statistics upon her.
At any rate, I flatter myself that there is no suggestion of impropriety in anything that I write.
I'm not so sure about that, Baxter.
What do you mean, sir?
Did you read the Times this month on the new reviews?
Well?
Oh, nothing. It just said, quote, Mr. Baxter's statistics are extremely suggestive, end quote.
Baxter makes a gesture of annoyance.
I haven't read them, so of course I don't know what you've been up to.
Baxter rising, turning away in disgust, and crossing up left.
Pah!
Poor old Baxter.
Puts book of poems down on table and crosses below chair and gathers a daffodil from a large vase down right, and say, Poor old Baxter. Ad lib. Baxter moves round back of hammock and right, collides with Devonish, and much annoyed goes down between table and tree towards chair down left.
Baxter.
Moving to and leaning against tree right. Baxter turning to Devonish crossly.
I wish you wouldn't keep calling me Baxter.
Harold.
Baxter displays annoyance and continues his walk to left.
It is only by accident, an accident which we both deplore, that we have met at all, and in any case, I am a considerably older man than yourself.
Sits left.
Mr. Baxter, father.
Gesture of annoyance from Baxter.
I have a proposal to make. We will leave it to this beautiful flower to decide which of us the lady loves.
Baxter turning round.
Eh?
Devonish pulling off the petals.
She loves me, she loves Mr. Baxter. She loves me, she loves Mr. Baxter.
Belinda appears in the porch.
Heaven help her, she loves me.
Belinda coming down right.
What are you doing, Mr. Devonish?
Devonish throwing away the flower and bowing very low.
My lady.
Baxter rises quickly. Baxter removing his bowler hat stiffly.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Tremaine.
She gives her left hand to Devonish, who kisses it, and her right to Baxter, who shakes it.
How nice of both of you to come.
Mr. Devonish and I are inseparable, apparently.
You haven't told me what you were doing, Mr. Devonish. Was it
Plucking an imaginary flower.
this year, next year, or silk, satin?
My lady, it was even more romantic than that. I have the honor to announce to your ladyship that Mr. Baxter is to be a sailor.
Dancing round, imitating the hornpipe. Belinda to Baxter.
Doesn't he talk nonsense?
He'll grow out of it. I did.
Belinda moving down right and then to center towards hammock.
Oh, I hope not. I love talking nonsense, and I'm ever so old.
As they both start forward to protest.
Now, which one of you will say it first?
You are as old as the stars and as young as the dawn.
You are 10 years younger than I am.
What sweet things to say. I don't know which I like best.
Where will my lady sit?
Belinda with an exaggerated curtsy.
I will recline in the hammock, an it please thee, my lord.
Baxter goes to the right of the hammock, saying,
Allow me.
Devonish moves to left of the hammock and holds it, takes up a cushion which Baxter snatches from him and places in hammock again.
Only it's rather awkward getting in, Mr. Baxter. Perhaps you'd both better look at the tulips for a moment.
Oh, yes.
Crosses down right, turns his back to the hammock, and examines the flowers. Devonish leaning over her.
If only...
You'd better not say anything, Mr. Devonish. Keep it for your next volume.
He turns away and examines flowers on left. She sits on hammock.
1, 2, 3.
Throws her legs over.
That was better than last time.
They turn round to see her safely in the hammock. Devonish leans against the left tree at her feet, and Baxter draws the deck chair from the right side of the table and turns it round towards her. He presses his hat more firmly on and sits down.
I wonder if either of you can guess what I've been reading this afternoon?
Devonish looking at her lovingly.
I know.
Belinda giving him a fleeting look.
How did you know?
Well,
Belinda to Baxter.
Yes, Mr. Baxter, it was your article I was reading. If you'd come 5 minutes earlier, you'd have found me reveling in it.
I'm very greatly honored, Mrs. Tremaine. It seemed to me a very interesting curve showing the rise and fall of...
I hadn't got up to the curves. They are interesting, aren't they? They are really more in Mr. Devonish's line.
To Devonish.
Mr. Devonish, it was a great disappointment to me that all the poems in your book seemed to be written to somebody else.
It was before I met you, lady. They were addressed to the goddess of my imagination. It is only in these last few weeks that I have discovered her.
And discovered she was dark and not fair?
She will be dark in my next volume.
Oh, how nice of her.
Baxter kindly.
You should write a real poem to Mrs. Tremaine.
Belinda excitedly.
Oh, do. To Belinda. I don't know what rhymes, except cinder. You could say your heart was like a cinder, all burnt up.
Devonish pained.
Oh, my lady, I'm afraid that is a Cockney rhyme.
How thrilling! I've never been to Hampstead Heath.
Belinda, it is far too beautiful to rhyme with anything but itself.
Fancy! But what about Tremaine?
Singing.
Oh, I am Mrs. Tremaine, and I don't want to marry again.
Devonish protesting.
My lady!
Baxter protesting.
Belinda.
Belinda pointing excitedly to Baxter.
There, that's the first time he's called me Belinda. This naughty boy,
indicating Devonish,
is always doing it by accident.
Are you serious?
Not as a rule.
You're not going to marry again?
Well, who could I marry?
Devonish and Baxter together.
Me!
Belinda dropping her eyes modestly.
But this is England.
Baxter rising and taking off his hat, which he places on table, and going up to Belinda.
Mrs. Tremaine, I claim the right of age, of my greater years, to speak first.
Mrs. Tremaine,
Belinda kindly to Devonish.
You can speak afterwards, Mr. Devonish. It's so awkward when you both speak together.
To Baxter, giving encouragement.
Yes?
Baxter moving down a little and then returning to Belinda.
Mrs. Tremaine, I am a man of substantial position.
Devonish sniggers, to Baxter's great annoyance.
And perhaps I may say of some repute in serious circles.
Devonish sniggers again.
All that I have, whether of material or mental endowment, I lay at your feet, together with an admiration which I cannot readily put into words. As my wife, I think you would be happy, and I feel that with you by my side, I could achieve even greater things.
How sweet of you! But I ought to tell you that I'm no good at figures.
Devonish protesting.
My lady,
I don't mean what you mean, Mr. Devonish. You wait till it's your turn.
To Baxter.
Yes?
Baxter very formally.
I ask you to marry me, Belinda.
Belinda settling herself happily and closing her eyes.
Oh! Now it's your turn, Mr. Devonish.
Devonish excitedly.
money, thank heaven, I have no money. Reputation, thank heaven, I have no reputation.
Baxter, very annoyed, moves down and sits on deck chair.
What can I offer you? Dreams? Nothing but dreams. Come with me, and I will show you the world through my dreams. What can I give you? Youth, freedom, beauty.
Debts.
Belinda, still with her eyes shut.
You mustn't interrupt, Mr. Baxter.
Devonish leaning across hammock.
Belinda, marry me, and I will open your eyes to the beauty of the world. Come to me.
Belinda happily.
Oh, you've got such different ways of putting things. How can I choose between you?
Then you will marry one of us?
You know, I really oughtn't to.
I don't see why not.
Well, there's just a little difficulty in the way.
What is it? I will remove it. For you, I could remove anything. Yes, even Baxter.
He looks at Baxter, who is sitting more solidly than ever in his chair.
And anyhow, I should have to choose between you.
Devonish in a whisper.
Choose me.
Baxter stiffly.
Mrs. Tremaine does not require any prompting. A fair field, and let the best man win.
Devonish going across to and slapping the astonished Baxter on the back.
Aye, let the best man win. Well spoken, Baxter.
Baxter is very annoyed, to Belinda and going back to her left.
Send us out into the world upon some knightly quest, lady, and let the victor be rewarded.
I ought to say that I should be unable to go very far. I have an engagement to speak at Newcastle on the 21st.
Baxter, I will take no unfair advantage of you. Let the beard of the Lord Mayor of Newcastle be the talisman that my lady demands. I am satisfied.
This sort of thing is entirely contrary to my usual mode of life, but I will not be outfaced by a mere boy.
Rising.
I am prepared.
Going to her.
Speak, lady.
Belinda speaking in a deep, mysterious voice.
Gentlemen, ye put wild thoughts into my head. In sooth, I am minded to send ye forth upon a quest that is passing strange. Know ye that there is a maid journeyed hither, hight Robinson, whose—
In her natural voice.
What's the old for aunt?
Baxter hopefully.
Mother sister.
You know, I think I shall have to explain this in ordinary language. You won't mind very much, will you, Mr. Devonish?
It is the spirit of this which matters, not the language which clothes it.
Oh, I'm so glad you think so. Well, now, about Miss Robinson. She's my niece, and she's just come to stay with me. And, poor girl, she's lost her father. Absolutely lost him. He disappeared ever such a long time ago, and poor Miss Robinson, Delia, naturally wants to find him. Poor girl! She can't think where he is.
Devonish nobly.
I will find him.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Devonish. Miss Robinson would be ever so much obliged.
Yes, but what have we to go upon, beyond the fact that his name is Robinson?
I shouldn't go on that too much. You see, he may easily have changed it by now. He was never very much of a Robinson. Nothing to do with Peter or any of those.
I will find him.
Baxter, with a look of annoyance at Devonish.
Well, can you tell us what he's like?
Well, it's such a long time since I saw him.
Looking down modestly.
Of course, I was quite a girl then. The only thing I know for certain is that he has a mole on his left arm, about here.
She indicates a spot just below the elbow. Baxter examines it closely. Devonish folding his arms and looking nobly upwards.
I will find him.
I am bound to inform you, Mrs. Tremaine, that even a trained detective could not give you very much hope in such a case. However, I will keep a lookout for him, and of course if—
Fear not, lady. I will find him.
Baxter annoyed.
Yes, you keep on saying that, but what have you got to go on?
Devonish grandly.
Faith! The faith which moves mountains.
Yes, and this is only just one small molehill, Mr. Baxter.
Yes, but still—
Shh! Here is Miss Robinson.
Baxter takes up his hat and moves below the deck chair to right to meet Delia.
If Mr. Devonish will hold the hammock while I alight, we don't want an accident.
Delia comes out of the house.
I can introduce you.
He helps her to get out, holding the hammock.
Thank you. Delia, darling.
Delia moves down right.
This is Mr. Baxter and Mr. Devonish. My niece, Miss Robinson.
Delia shakes hands with Baxter and moves to center below Belinda and shakes hands with Devonish.
How do you do?
Miss Robinson has just come over from France. Mon Dieu, quelle place!
I hope you had a good crossing, Miss Robinson.
Oh, I never mind about the crossing.
Very slowly and shyly.
Aunt Belinda?
She stops and smiles.
Yes, dear?
I believe tea is almost ready. I want mine, and I'm sure Mr. Baxter's hungry.
He snickers approvingly.
Mr. Devonish scorns food, I expect.
Devonish hurt.
Why do you say that?
Aren't you a poet?
Yes, darling, but that doesn't prevent him eating. He'll be absolutely lyrical over Betty's sandwiches.
You won't deny me that inspiration, I hope, Miss Robinson.
Belinda taking Delia's arm and moving with her to below deck chair.
Well, let's go and see what they're like.
Delia moves up right center to below the porch, accompanied by Baxter on her right, and Devonish, who follows her on her left. They all move towards the porch.
Mr. Baxter, just a moment.
Baxter apologizing to Delia and moving in front of the others to back of deck chair.
Yes?
Delia gathers a daffodil from vase right and places it in Devonish's buttonhole. Belinda secretly.
Not a word to her about Mr. Robinson. It must be a surprise for her.
Quite so. I understand.
That's right.
Baxter rejoins Delia, raising her voice.
Oh, Mr. Devonish.
Devonish, who is evidently much attracted by Delia, apologizes to her and goes back between tree and hammock to left of Belinda.
Yes, Mrs. Tremaine?
Belinda secretly.
Not a word to her about Mr. Robinson. It must be a surprise for her.
Of course. I shouldn't dream.
Indignantly.
Robinson? What an unsuitable name.
Baxter and Delia are just going into the house. Belinda dismissing Devonish.
All right, I'll catch you up.
Devonish goes after the other two. Left alone, Belinda laughs happily to herself, and then begins to look rather aimlessly about her. She picks up her sunshade and opens it. She comes to the hammock, picks out her handkerchief, says,
"Ah, there you are,"
and puts it away. She goes slowly towards the house. Tremaine enters from left, and with his back to the audience tries latch of imaginary gate below scenic painted gateway, left. Belinda turns her head, hearing imaginary click of the garden gate, left. She comes slowly back, right center. Belinda seeing Tremaine.
"Have you lost yourself, or something?" "No, the latch is this side. Yes, that's right."
Tremaine comes in. He has been knocking about the world for 18 years, and is very much a man, though he has kept his manners. His hair is graying a little at the sides, and he looks the 40-odd that he is. Without his moustache and beard, he is very different from the boy Belinda married. Tremaine with his hat in his hand.
I'm afraid I'm trespassing.
Belinda winningly, moving down right a little.
But it's such a pretty garden.
Turns away, closing her parasol.
Isn't it?
Tremaine, half recognizing her, moves to back of hammock and leans across to obtain a better view of her. Tremaine rather confused.
I beg your pardon,
He is wondering if it can possibly be she. Belinda thinks his confusion is due to the fact that he is trespassing, and hastens to put him at ease.
I should have done the same myself, you know.
Tremaine pulling himself together.
Oh, but you mustn't think I just came in because I liked the garden.
Belinda clapping her hands.
No, but say you do like it. Quick!
It's lovely, and...
He hesitates. Belinda hopefully.
Yes?
Tremaine with conviction.
Yes, it's lovely.
Belinda with that happy sigh of hers.
Oh. Now tell me what really did happen.
I was on my way to Marytown.
To where?
Marytown.
Oh, you mean Meryton.
Do I?
Yes, we always call it Meryton down here.
Earnestly.
You don't mind, do you?
Tremaine smiling.
Not a bit.
Just say it, to see if you've got it right.
Meryton.
Belinda shaking her head.
Oh, no, that's quite wrong. Try it again.
With a rustic accent.
Meryton.
Meryton.
Yes, that's much better.
As if it were he who had interrupted.
Well, do go on.
I'm afraid it isn't much of an apology, really. I saw what looked like a private road.
Points left.
But what I rather hoped wasn't, and, well, I thought I'd risk it. I do hope you'll forgive me.
Oh, but I love people seeing my garden. Are you staying in Meryton?
I think so. Oh, yes, decidedly.
Well, perhaps the next time the road won't feel so private.
How charming of you.
He feels he must know. A piano is heard off, playing Belinda. The tune is continued until the fall of the curtain.
Are you Mrs. Tremaine by any chance?
Yes.
Tremaine nodding to himself.
Yes.
How did you know?
Tremaine hastily inventing, moving down left, below the hammock.
They use you as a signpost in the village. Past Mrs. Tremaine's house and then bear to the left.
And you couldn't go past it?
I'm afraid I couldn't. Thank you so much for not minding.
Going up to the left of her.
Well, I must be getting on. I have trespassed quite enough.
Belinda regretfully.
And you haven't really seen the garden yet.
If you won't mind my going on this way, I shall see some more on my way out.
Please do. It likes being looked at.
With the faintest suggestion of demureness.
All pretty things do.
Thank you very much.
Turns to go up center. He hesitates. Belinda helpfully.
Yes?
I wonder if you'd mind very much if I called one day to thank you formally for the lesson you gave me in pronunciation.
Belinda gravely.
Yes, I almost think you ought to. I think it's the correct thing to do.
Tremaine contentedly.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tremaine.
You'll come in quite formally.
Pointed to right with her sunshade.
By the front door next time, won't you? Because that seems the only chance of my getting to know your name.
Oh, I beg your pardon. My name is, Robinson.
She is highly amused, and looks round towards the house, recalling to her mind Delia. Belinda laughing.
How very odd.
Tremaine startled.
Odd?
Yes, we have someone called Robinson.
Nodding towards the house.
Staying in the house. I wonder if she is any relation.
Tremaine hastily.
Oh, no, she couldn't be. I have no relations called Robinson, not to speak of.
You must tell me all about your relations when you come and call, Mr. Robinson.
Oh, I think we can find something better worth talking about than that.
Do you think so?
He says yes with his eyes, bows, and moves up center. The piano is now forte. Belinda accompanies him up a little, then stops. He turns in entrance up centre, and they exchange glances. Tremaine exits to right behind yew hedge. Belinda stays looking after him, then moves down to back of table, and picking up the book of poems, gives that happy sigh of hers, only even more so.
Oh.
Enter Betty from porch.
If you please, ma'am, Miss Delia says, are you coming into tea?
Belinda, looking straight in front of her, and taking no notice of Betty, in a happy, dreamy voice.
Betty, about callers. If Mr. Robinson calls, he's the handsome gentleman who hasn't been here before.
She puts book down.
You will say, not at home. And he will say, oh. And you will say, I beg your pardon, sir, was it Mr. Robinson? And he will say, yes. And you will say, oh, I beg your pardon, sir.
Almost as if she were Betty, she begins to move towards the house.
This way.
She would be smiling an invitation over her shoulder to Mr. Robinson if he were there, and she were Betty.
Please.
And the abandoned woman goes in to tea. Curtain. End of Act 1.